May 14th, 2013, West Virginia, Spruce Knob Ridge at 2,100. The clouds sat low. My breath came white and slow. I counted 14 steps to stay steady. Then I heard the first pattern. 3 hollow taps on wood, spaced like a slow knock. The smell followed it, wet iron with a sour rot that stuck in the back of my mouth. I raised my light, kept it tight. The beam caught eyes set too far apart and too low for a person standing. Skinwalker, I said in my head, because that was the word the locals used. It moved on all fours without a bend at the knee, shoulders rolling like a cat, but paced like a man. The 3 taps came again from my left. It shifted to my right, fast. Brush cracked. I felt the ground thump once. It tested us, then rushed. I squeezed, short, controlled burst, and watched it slip off the beam. That was the start. Now I will tell you who we were and why we were there. Before we start the video, hit the subscribe button to support the channel. It only takes a second. We were 8 soldiers, all from Bravo Company, 2nd Battalion of the 175th, a mix of regulars and guard. The call came after a storm rolled through Pendleton County and cut off 3 research posts in the Monongahela High Ridges. 2 biologists and 1 park warden were overdue. Local teams had covered the lower trails but stopped at the upper ridgeline. Too much wind, poor comms, trees down everywhere. Command asked for a small mountain unit with night gear and endurance. We fit that need. We moved in by trucks to a staging point near the old fire tower. No signals, no chatter. Only one rule: stay tight and stay quiet. We had 48 hours to locate the missing team, confirm condition, and guide them down. Weather forecast showed another front coming in from the northwest. 2 days of fog, then freezing rain. The ridge was hard ground, thick spruce, wet moss, and shale that broke underfoot. Altitude a little above 4,000 feet. We carried standard load: rifles, optics, thermal units, and packs with 3 days' supply. I carried the logboard and a compact recorder for the route. Every 600 meters we marked trees with reflective tape, no wider than a finger. The county deputy briefed us at dusk. He called the upper ridge cursed and said the old families avoided it after dark. No one laughed. We had heard similar talk on other missions. But his tone was flat, not like he was joking. He told us the missing team had been tracking elk movement and recording nocturnal sounds. Their last transmission mentioned a large shape near the ridge cut, moving uphill against the wind. Then nothing. We started climb at 1900. The trail was half gone, washed out by stormwater. My count kept rhythm: 14 steps, short pause, 14 more. It calmed me. Every man had his habit. Klein chewed gum. Ortiz whispered old songs under breath. Light discipline was strict, only red lenses when we stopped. The forest swallowed sound. You could hear a branch fall half a mile off. 2 hours in, we reached the lower camp of the missing team. Tent poles bent, supplies scattered, 1 pack torn clean, like sliced. No blood, no sign of struggle. Food packets opened, but not eaten. The notebook lay dry under a tarp, pages warped. Last note read, "Tracks near ridge, not elk, not bear." We found prints nearby, long, narrow, pressed deep but incomplete. Heel not clear, toes too long, no claw mark. The ground was soft from rain, but not enough to blur edges like that. The smell came faint then, wet iron again, mixed with pine and soil. We noted it, moved on. The wind shifted uphill. I kept the team close, line spacing at 5 meters. We climbed another kilometer to a saddle that opened toward the north. That was where the first sound came. 3 hollow taps, same spacing, not from wind or branch. Clear, deliberate. I wrote it in the log and marked direction. We searched for cause. No bird, no dripping branch. Just quiet after the 3rd tap. The men heard it too. No one said a word. We waited 1 minute, then continued. The deputy's story about the ridge felt closer now. We made camp at 0200 near a stone shelf under spruce cover. No fire, cold rations only. We set 2 perimeter sensors. Rain started again, soft at first, then steady. That smell came back stronger, hanging near the tree line. I thought it was animal decay carried by wind. The rain made it worse. I noted direction and strength, standard procedure. The men turned in by rotation. I stayed on first watch. Through the scope, movement looked wrong at times. The trees shifted with the wind, but one shadow did not sway. It crouched low, then vanished when I blinked. I told myself fatigue was playing tricks. I counted 14 breaths at a time, eyes on the ridge edge, until dawn light pushed through the fog. That was our first night. The ridge had already changed tone. The missing team's traces were clear but incomplete. Something else was tracking us in return. Morning came pale and slow. The fog sat low on the ridge, thick enough to cut sound. Every breath showed white. The rain had frozen along the branches, turning them into glass. We moved out at 600, slow pace, single file. The tracks from the missing team ran ahead for maybe 1 kilometer, then stopped near a split in the ridge. From there, only confusion. Boot marks overlapped, then scattered. We spread out by 10 meters, checked both sides of the slope. The northern face fell sharp, too steep for a normal climb. Still, there were drag marks along the moss, like something heavy had moved through on all fours. I marked the grid and direction, sent 2 men to confirm. The marks ended at a line of shale where no prints could hold. No slide, no fall debris, just ended. The smell hit again around that time, stronger than before. Wet iron, sour and thick. It clung to gear and skin. You could taste it when you spoke. The men noticed. No one said a word. The wind carried it uphill, which made no sense. We were the highest thing around. We reached an old fire break at 900. The clearing gave us a view of the valley, half hidden in fog. From that height, radio should have worked. But nothing came through. Static only. Batteries checked fine. We switched to backup bands. Still dead. Command silence at this point was not unusual, but total loss for hours was rare. I noted it. Around mid-morning, Ortiz found something tied in a tree fork. A strip of cloth, torn from a jacket, knotted twice. Faded blue. It matched the biologist's uniform color. We logged it, took a photo, left it in place. Near the same spot, the soil had been disturbed in a wide circle, like someone had cleared leaves with their hands. Centered inside were 3 small stones stacked upright. They looked placed, not random. We left them untouched. At 1100, the ridge wind changed again. A soft thump echoed once through the trees, distant but heavy. Not gunfire, not falling rock. It came from the northwest line, where the ridge split. Klein said it sounded like someone dropping logs. I thought it was thunder, but no storm cells showed on forecast. We stopped for short rest at a dry patch under spruce cover. The men looked tired already. Thin air, damp cold, and unease were wearing them down. I kept count. 14 steps between each movement, 14 breaths between checks. It helped hold focus. When you lead a small group like that, calm is contagious. If you lose it, they lose it. We crossed into the next sector by early afternoon. Ground changed. Less moss, more rock and shale. The trees thinned, giving view of the valley on one side. There we found the second campsite. It was not the team's. No tags, no permits, no sign of who used it. Just a ring of burned wood, some still warm, though rain had fallen most of the night. A small metal cup lay in the ash, rusted and bent. Around it, deep footprints with long spacing, heel to heel almost 3 feet apart. Whatever made them was tall but light. Weight distribution was off. No heel press, only 4 foot. I remember the silence in that place. No bird, no wind, nothing moving. The smell came thickest there, mixed with smoke and rot. Ortiz gagged once, turned his head away. The air was colder inside the circle than outside. That detail never left me. We moved out fast. Our path ran along a cut ridge that curved toward a higher crest. From there, the valley opened wide. That was where I first saw the marks on the tree trunks. Deep scratches, vertical, about shoulder height, spaced evenly. Each set came in 3 lines, the same pattern as the taps we kept hearing. We logged distance, pattern, and count. 13 sets over 400 meters. I did not like the number. I added 1 to make 14 in my notes. Maybe that was habit, maybe fear. By sunset, we reached a clearing used as a wildlife observation post. The missing team had left a data recorder there, half buried under leaves. It still worked. When we played the last entry, it ran 4 minutes, filled with ambient sound, then 3 hollow taps, same pattern, then a single breath that was not human. That was when the ridge started to feel alive. I told the men we would rest, eat, and continue at dawn. They obeyed, but no one slept long. The sound kept echoing in our heads. The ridge was not empty. Something was pacing us in the dark, testing the line, waiting for the right time to come close again. That was how the second night began. That night, the fog thickened until the trees vanished 10 feet out. The ridge dropped away into white. We set a staggered watch, 2 on, 2 off. I took second shift. The air was colder, the kind that burns when you breathe. Every few minutes, I counted 14 breaths to steady my hands. The ground stayed soft under the tarp, soaked through from rain. At 0100, I heard the first movement. Not walking, not full weight. It slid through brush, stopping when I looked toward it. Then came the 3 taps again, hollow, deliberate. It sounded close enough that I could feel vibration in the dirt. Ortiz whispered my name. He was 30 feet out on flank guard. His light came on for half a second, a thin red cone, then cut. I saw his face in that moment, pale, eyes wide. He pointed uphill. Through the fog, something moved on the crest. A low figure, thin but tall at the shoulders, crawling fast. It didn't break twigs or rustle leaves. The shape stopped halfway down the slope, crouched and turned its head sideways like it was listening. Then the smell hit us. Wet iron and sour meat, thick and steady. We held position. No noise, no call. The figure backed away into fog. When I looked again, it was gone. The forest went silent, not even the rain. I marked time and direction, logged it. The others pretended to sleep, but everyone heard. By dawn, Ortiz was sick. His skin looked gray, eyes sunk deep. He said he felt heavy, like he had run miles in his sleep. We checked vitals. Nothing clear, no fever, no wounds, just fatigue. I told him to hydrate and rest. We broke camp at 600. The smell was still in the air, faint but steady. We moved toward the upper ridge to reach the last known coordinates of the missing team. The climb was rough. Shale slipped under boots, and fog cut visibility to a few meters. I kept count. 14 steps, pause, 14 more. It helped track distance when sight failed. Halfway up the slope, Klein slipped. His boot caught something under the moss. We cleared the area and found it was a torn field jacket. Inside pocket, an ID tag from one of the biologists. Fabric stiff, soaked, no blood. The metal had a faint rust tint, but not from weather. It looked like something wet had dried on it. The smell hit again, stronger. We pushed higher. The slope leveled into a narrow pass. On one side, the ground fell into a ravine. On the other, thick spruce blocked light. I caught motion low to the ground again, right on the tree line. I turned my light, nothing there. When I switched it off, the sound of movement started again, circling us. 3 taps, stop. 3 taps, closer. The men froze. We broke into defensive line, rifles up. The fog distorted shapes, made the trees look alive. I saw something between them. Pale skin stretched tight, limbs too long, head low. It moved in a crawl, then rose halfway, like it wanted to test upright. When it exhaled, I heard that wet hiss, like air moving through water. Ortiz muttered that it was the same sound from the recorder. He was right. The pattern matched perfectly. It moved parallel to us for almost a minute, never stepping into clear view. Then, like a signal, everything stopped. No sound, no smell, nothing. I waited, counted 14 beats of my pulse, then gave motion order. We moved out slow, rifles covering flanks. Another half-kilometer up, we found a fresh print. Long toes, heel faint, pressed into soft clay. Next to it, smaller prints, human boot marks, one dragging slightly. I recognized the tread. Biologist issue. The drag meant injury or fatigue, but the larger print crossed over it, not under. That meant whatever was chasing them came after. We followed trail markers until they ended at a shallow cave set in rock face. Inside, dry ground, faint smell of smoke, remains of a campfire, bones scattered, too small for deer. Human finger bones, 2 of them, clean cut. The edges were smooth like sliced with a tool. The team went quiet. I logged everything. The last note I wrote that hour was short. Something is keeping distance, but watching us move. We set perimeter again. Ortiz kept coughing, said the smell wouldn't leave his throat. I tried not to notice that it was now coming from his gear too. The ridge air carried it no matter where we stood. That was when the 3 taps started again, this time behind us. It echoed off rock, louder than before. I turned, saw movement in fog. Then silence. I remember thinking, whatever it was, it wanted us to know it was still there. I kept the team close and quiet. We continued toward the upper ridge, where the missing team's main station should have been. Each step felt like walking through a waiting room. We did not speak. The ridge had gone from silent to listening. We reached the top ridge line by late afternoon. The fog had started to lift, showing thin sunlight through the spruce tops. From there, we could see the valley for the first time in a full day. The air was still, no birds, no wind, just silence thick enough to make every breath feel loud. The ridge split again near a broken tree. The trunk was snapped clean at shoulder height, not twisted, not rotted. The wood around the break looked fresh, like something strong had forced it apart. The men stopped, looked to me for call. I said, move. No delays on open ground. 10 minutes later, we found another trace of the missing team. A sample crate, broken open, glass tubes scattered. One still intact, labeled biological fragment sample, unknown. The handwriting matched the biologist's field notes from the lower camp. Whatever they had found, they had tried to collect. The inside of the crate smelled sharp and sour, same as the air near the strange campsite. The smell wasn't fading anymore. It followed us, clinging to sweat and cloth. At 1700, we found the main camp. Tents flattened, ground torn up in a half circle. Not like a fight, more like something had dug through. In the center lay one boot, sole ripped off. Inside it, dried blood but no tissue. A thermal blanket hung from a tree branch, shredded and stained. A field camera sat on a tripod, lens cracked, but data light still blinking. We powered it and pulled the last file. The footage showed the camp at night, same layout, same angle we found it. The camera picked up faint movement near the edge. At first, it looked like fog shifting. Then the shape appeared, low and moving fast. The outline was wrong. Limbs bent backward, head tilted, gait uneven. The sound on the file was worse. You could hear breathing, slow and heavy, then the 3 hollow taps, clear as glass. The last frame showed the tent shaking, then static. We played it once. No one asked to play it again. We spread out to secure the perimeter. Ortiz stayed near the equipment while I logged grid and direction. He said he heard whispering, like voices behind him. I thought he meant the wind. Then he pointed out that the fog was still. We turned together and listened. There were low sounds from the slope below, soft, like breath through teeth. We backed up slow, eyes on the tree line. The smell hit full then, wet and heavy, like the ridge itself was bleeding. From the dark came the taps again, 3 times, followed by one soft thud. I ordered a fallback to the upper rocks, higher ground. Klein covered rear. He fired once when he saw movement. The flash lit the slope for a second. In that moment, I saw it clear. Pale gray skin, stretched over a long frame. No fur. Face flat and smooth. No nose. Mouth drawn back like a scar. Eyes black, wide apart, and they reflected light like metal. It crouched low, hands flat on ground, elbows out like wings. When the shot went off, it flinched but didn't run. It turned its head slow, like measuring distance. We moved out, slow and deliberate. The creature followed parallel through trees, always just out of sight. Its pace matched ours. Every time we stopped, it stopped. When we started again, the 3 taps returned. Always 3, always close. The fog thickened again by dusk. We found a ledge with one clear approach and set camp. No one spoke. I counted 14 rounds in each magazine, then 14 steps around the perimeter, checking angles. The smell lingered no matter the wind direction. At 0100, something threw a stone into camp. It hit Ortiz's pack, rolled twice, stopped near my boot. When I looked closer, I saw it wasn't a stone. It was a fragment of bone, smooth and rounded, marked with 3 scratches, the same pattern. Ortiz broke then. He started shaking, whispering the same count I used. 14, 14, 14. I took his rifle and set him near the tarp. The men barely slept. The fog pulsed in and out, like breathing. Around 0300, I heard footsteps circling camp, light but quick. Then a voice, low, same pitch as Ortiz's, called from the dark. Same tone, same rhythm. It said his name. Once. Then the taps came again, faster this time. I called lights up. Red glow filled the camp. Nothing there. The footsteps stopped. The smell stayed. By dawn, Ortiz was gone. No sign of struggle, no footprints leaving camp. Just his gear left behind, and one set of 3 taps carved into the dirt where his sleeping bag had been. We packed fast. No talk, only movement. My count changed again. 14 steps, 1 pause, then another 14, just to feel in control. The ridge had taken one of us, and it wasn't done. We moved fast that morning, heads low, eyes scanning both sides of the ridge. The fog broke for the first time in 2 days, sunlight flashing through gaps like a warning. The air felt thin. Every step echoed. I kept counting, 14 each time, but the rhythm kept slipping. We reached a clearing where the terrain dropped steep toward a ravine. From that angle, the valley spread out wide. I saw movement near the tree line below. A shape was pacing the edge, staying in shadow. It moved upright, then dropped to all fours again, too smooth for a human crawl. The skin caught light once, pale and slick like frost. We set the thermal scope on a tripod and tracked it. The outline came clear. It was human-shaped, but joints bent backward. Elbows and knees wrong. The torso was thin, almost hollow. It moved fast, but without the bounce of running, more like sliding. I told Klein to mark the frame and zoom. The unit recorded temperature spikes, then something impossible. The heat signature split in 2, both identical, both moving in sync. One behind the other, same speed, same pattern. The first form stopped, but the second kept moving. Then they merged again. I froze. The machine was reading something solid, not reflection. The others stared. The figure turned toward our position. The head tilted sideways, then slowly back. We heard the taps again, but not from the woods. They came from the scope itself, through the housing, like something tapping the lens from the other side. Klein yanked the battery out. The sound stopped. The scope cooled instantly. We stood there silent, watching fog crawl back up the slope. The smell came with it, strong and thick. We packed and moved north, keeping the ridge crest in view. The forest around us felt heavy, like pressure on the skin. My breath came short. I started counting again, 14 steps, then 1 deep breath. It was the only thing that kept me from losing track of time. The ridge ended at a small rock face. We climbed down one by one. When my boots hit ground, I saw prints in the mud, fresh. Human boots, smaller size, matching Ortiz. The direction ran forward for 50 meters, then turned into those long toe marks again. Same path, same stride. Ortiz hadn't walked out. He had been carried, dragged, or worse, copied. I checked my watch. The minute hand was stuck. It had stopped at 0300. Same hour he vanished. The ridge had frozen time for him. That was when I knew we weren't dealing with a story. Whatever the locals called a skinwalker, it wasn't legend. It was real, and it was following the pattern it wanted. The fog swallowed the ridge again, and the taps started ahead of us, like it was leading us somewhere. We followed the sound until the ground leveled. The fog stayed thick, low to the dirt, curling around our boots. Then the ridge opened into a small hollow. In the center stood what looked like an old research cache, half buried under rock. Rusted metal frame, plastic boxes, bits of equipment inside. The plates on the side had serial numbers matching the missing team. We cleared the site in silence. One of the containers was split open. Inside were broken glass tubes and torn labels. Most of the writing had washed off, but one word was clear: tissue. The sample jars were cracked, lids missing. Whatever had been inside them was gone. Around the crate, the dirt was disturbed, shaped almost like handprints pressed deep into the mud. 5 long fingers, no nails, each mark longer than a man's palm. The smell there was unbearable, wet iron and rot. It made my stomach turn. I felt it coat the back of my throat. The others stepped back, covering their faces with sleeves. We found a note in one of the boxes written in pencil on damp paper. It read, "Sample alive, moves at night, do not open, keeps copying sound." The handwriting was rushed, almost unreadable. That line stayed in my head. Copies sound. The 3 taps started again right then. Not from the woods this time, but from inside the metal crate. Sharp, steady. Klein raised his rifle. I told him to wait. The taps stopped. Then we heard breathing, slow, deep, from inside. The fog pressed closer. I could see my own breath mix with it. I started counting. 14 breaths. Slow even. When I hit 14, a shadow passed behind the crate, tall and bent. The sound of bones shifting came next, dry and smooth. Then it spoke. It said, "Ortiz." The same tone, the same pause between syllables. Perfect. Klein lost it and fired once. The bullet hit the crate, metal ringing through the hollow. The echo rolled down the ridge like thunder. When it faded, the thing was gone. Only the smell stayed, thicker now. We regrouped. Everyone's nerves were shot. I logged what we found, sealed the remaining evidence in our own pack, and marked the coordinates for recovery. But deep down, we all knew no one would send another team up here. I looked at the ridge line. The fog was moving again, not with wind, but in a single direction, like it was being pulled uphill. The same way the tracks pointed. It wanted us to follow. We had one objective left, get back to the fire tower by nightfall. But the taps came again, now from both sides of the ridge. 2 sets, one far, one near. The second matched my steps exactly. Same pace, same rhythm. That was when I stopped counting, because whatever was out there had already learned it. We started downhill at dusk. The fog thinned, but the air felt heavier. Every sound bounced between trees like it was following us. The 3 taps came again, distant at first, then close enough to feel under our boots. The ridge was awake. We stayed in single file, rifles up, safeties off. Klein covered the rear. I checked my compass. The needle twitched, spinning full circle, then froze. The fog carried that same metallic smell, sharp enough to sting. At 1900, we reached the lower pass, the same place we had crossed 2 nights before. It looked different. Trees bent inward, forming a narrow corridor. I saw fresh markings on the trunks, 3 lines carved into bark, wet and red, like it had been done minutes before. Klein whispered that he saw a figure ahead, halfway down the pass. It stood still, facing away from us. Same size as a man, same stance. We aimed lights low and moved closer. When the beam hit, it turned. It wore Ortiz's uniform. Same patches, same dirt stains. But the skin was pale, stretched too tight. The eyes were black, glassy. The mouth opened, but no breath came out. Then the taps started, loud and close, from inside its chest. 3 sharp knocks like someone trapped beneath skin. Klein fired first. The figure fell back but didn't stay down. It moved on elbows, dragging itself fast. I fired controlled shots, center mass. It stopped after the 4th. The air filled with that sour metallic stench again, worse than before. We checked the body. It wasn't Ortiz. The face was close but wrong. The features not aligned right. The bone shape was off, like someone tried to copy him from memory. Its hands were thin, long fingers bent backward. The skin under the nails looked raw. We burned what we could. Standard field measure. The smoke rose thick, black, and smelled like iron and wet wood. The taps stopped for the first time since dawn. We kept moving. The ridge widened again, opening to a field of boulders and low brush. Visibility dropped as the fog rolled back in. I heard movement behind us. Fast, 4 limbs, not upright. I ordered light discipline off. No more flash, just night vision. Through the lens, I saw heat signatures moving along both flanks. 2, maybe 3. They stayed low, circling. The pattern was tight, trained, like a unit moving in coordination. The ridge wasn't random, it was hunting. We reached a small stream, barely a foot deep, but the sound covered our steps. I led the team through the water, slow and quiet. That was when the taps started again, this time underwater. muffled but still clear. The current carried the sound forward, like it was ahead of us now. Klein slipped, his boot caught between rocks. Before I could reach him, something grabbed his leg. He shouted once and fired downward. The flash lit the fog. A long gray arm pulled him under. I dropped to my knees, grabbed his vest, pulled with both hands. He came up gasping, boot gone, blood on his ankle. The water ran dark for a moment, then clear. We moved fast after that, no more formation. I counted 14 breaths just to keep pace, but the air stung like static. My ears rang from the taps, now constant, echoing off trees in every direction. By the time we reached the fire break, we were down to 4. 2 men lost in fog, no contact. We called names once, got replies that sounded like their voices but came from opposite sides. Same tone, same cadence. We held position, no one moved. The fog shifted again, revealing shapes crouched along the ridge edge. Thin, long, still. The smell of wet iron filled everything. I felt it on my hands, on the rifle, on my teeth when I breathed. They were waiting, lined up in silence, not attacking, not hiding, watching. One of them stepped forward. The light caught its face. It was mine. The copy of me stood 20 feet away. Same stance, same uniform, even the same cut on my right sleeve. It tilted its head, slow and steady. Then I heard it breathe. The sound was dry, broken, like lungs full of dust. I raised my rifle. The others froze, unsure if they should follow. The thing smiled, small and crooked, like it was learning what a face could do. Then it moved, fast, low, silent. It covered half the distance before I fired. The first round missed. The second hit shoulder. It spun but didn't fall. It kept crawling, reaching out with hands that bent the wrong way. Klein fired from the flank. The body dropped hard, then slid forward another foot like the ground was pulling it. The smell grew stronger, thick enough to taste. My mouth filled with metal. The taps came again, this time beneath us, through the soil. I yelled for movement. We pulled back toward the tree line, covering each other by turns. The fog pulsed with flashes of pale shapes weaving between trunks. Each time I fired, they split apart, only to close again. It wasn't one creature anymore. There were many, all moving the same rhythm, same count. The ridge shook with a low vibration, not an earthquake, not thunder. Something alive under the surface. The soil cracked in long lines that ran parallel to our path. Steam rose from them, hot and smelling of iron. We reached the slope above the fire tower clearing. The building stood dark, roof caved in, door hanging open. I sent one man forward to secure it. He stepped inside, shined his light once, then froze. His voice came back calm and slow. "Sir, there's another of you in here." I went in. The air was cold, dead still. In the corner stood a figure wearing my face again. This one didn't move, it just watched, head tilted the same way. Then I noticed its hands. They were pressed flat to its chest, fingers tapping. 3 knocks, slow, hollow. I walked closer. The skin on its face cracked as it smiled wider. Then it whispered something that made my blood run cold. 14. It said it like it owned the word. I emptied the magazine. The wall shook from the burst. When the smoke cleared, the figure was gone. Only a smear of dark fluid on the floor. It shimmered like oil. The tap stopped. The smell faded finally. We stayed until first light. The fog lifted. The ridge looked normal again, quiet and clean. Birds moved through the branches. No bodies, no tracks, no sign of the things that hunted us. Only the burned marks on the ground and that dark stain near the door. By the time recovery reached us, only 3 of us were left. We gave standard report, lost 2 men to terrain and 1 to unknown cause. No one questioned it. The samples and footage were sealed. The ridge was closed to all research for safety reasons. That night, back at the armory, I cleaned my rifle and tried to count like before. 14 steps, 14 breaths. But every time I reached the last one, I heard 3 faint taps behind me, like someone keeping time. We stayed on base 3 more days for debrief. Medical ran tests, checked for toxins, infection, exposure. Nothing unusual, just fatigue, dehydration, stress. That was the official line. The report listed cause of death for the missing as lost in terrain, presumed hypothermia. The footage, the samples, and the recovered logs went to a higher office. We never saw them again. Klein stopped talking after the second interview. He sat on his bunk, staring at the floor, hands moving like he was still counting. He left service a month later. They called it psychological fatigue. I stayed. I went through the motions, training, patrols, paperwork. But something was different. At night, I kept hearing the same pattern in the walls. 3 hollow taps, spaced out, always in sets of 3. The smell never left my gear. I washed everything twice, burned half of it. Still faint, still there, wet iron and rot. It felt like the ridge was on me. 2 months later, a state notice came in. Spruce Knob restricted due to unstable ground. No recovery teams were cleared after that. The file was sealed. One night, I took out the logbook. The last entry I'd written had bled through the page. The ink warped like something had pressed against it. It read only one word: 14. I closed it, locked it away, and told myself the ridge was over. But sometimes when the wind hits the barracks the right way, I hear the sound again. 3 knocks, faint, steady, waiting. A few months later, 2 new teams went up the ridge under a civilian contract. I heard it by accident from a logistics officer. They were looking for lost research gear, nothing more. Both teams came back early. One man broke his leg on the slope. The others said the fog came in fast and the compasses failed. No one spoke about sounds, but I saw the same fear in their faces that I remembered from that night. Weeks after, I was called to confirm inventory for our old operation. One of the sealed crates had been moved. Inside, the sample tubes were gone. Only one jar remained, cracked open. The tag was missing. The smell hit the room before I even opened the lid. Wet iron, sour rot, same as before. They said it was a storage accident. I didn't argue. I visited Klein once before he left the state. He lived alone near a lake, quiet area. When I walked in, he had marks on his walls, groups of 3 scratches lined in rows. He said they helped him sleep. I didn't ask why. Before I left, he looked at me and said, "It still counts, doesn't it?" I didn't answer. That night I drove home and threw my old field boots in the fire pit. The soles still carried red dust from that ridge. The smell rose with the smoke. For a second, I heard the faint tapping again, buried inside the crackle. The next morning, I checked the clock on my nightstand. The second hand was still. It had stopped at 300 hours, the same time Ortiz disappeared. I never went back to that ridge. No one from our unit did. But the taps still follow in small ways. In the creak of pipes, in the knock of wind on siding, always 3, always patient. Now, when I close my eyes, I see the shape at the edge of fog, long arms, black eyes, and that voice, calm and slow, whispering the number it stole from me. 14. It has been 10 years since that ridge. I've served other posts, seen real combat, but nothing ever felt like that place. It wasn't war, it was something older, something that watched and waited. I still think about the men we lost. Ortiz, who counted with me to stay calm. Klein, who heard the tapping long before I admitted it. Sometimes I wonder if it marked us all from the start, if stepping on that ridge was enough. The reports never mentioned what we saw. The files read like a routine search gone wrong. But every man who came back knows the truth. The Skinwalker, or whatever name fits it, wasn't hunting for food. It was copying, learning. It left with our voices, our faces, our count. I still wake at 0300, no alarm, just the sound of 3 faint knocks from somewhere in the house. Always slow, always even. I never go looking. Some things follow because you listen too long. Don't turn off your lights yet. If you like the video, hit like and watch the next amazing horror story showing on your screen.